Better late than never. Now, I thought I added audio onto the intro video, but of course I forgot. So apologies for that. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I am bringing you the David Moyes press conference. I was going to hold off to the preview this evening, but I thought, no, do you know what? I'll bring it to you. I couldn't get a chance to do it yesterday. So I thought I'd bring it to you this afternoon. It's lovely, wonderful Saturday afternoon up in Scotland. It is absolutely peeing it down with rain. It is freezing cold. And I hope the weather is a lot better wherever you are watching in the world. I'm not even going to say down south because we've got people watching in Australia. We've got people watching in Thailand. We've got people watching in Wales, Ireland, Scotland, Sweden, France, you name it. They are everywhere and anywhere. Belgium, of course, as well. But get your comments in and we'll have a bit of a chinwag in relation to the David Moyes press conference. But before we move on, of course, as I always do, please hit that subscribe button. Now, the reason why I'm going to push that to you guys today is because we are a hop, skip, and a jump. We've probably hopped, and we're probably currently skipping our way to jump over the line and get ourselves on to 10,000 subscribers. We are nearly there. Now, listen, I have a special guest. I've thrown him well under the bus. He's testing out his equipment and he's panicking in the backgrounds. And it's none other than Jim. Dad, how are you, Dad?
I'm fine. And you, son?
Oh, we can hear you as well. All you need to do is put the microphone down, Dad, and then you're sorted.
How do you mean, like this?
But yeah, that's it. There you go. You're sorted now.
Right? Okay.
Dad, so how are you feeling? I mean, we're not doing the preview for Burnley. We're going to do the David Moyes press conference. But what was your thoughts, Dad, on the academy players that played in the Europa League?
I was delighted to see the boys going out like that. I mean, we didn't really have much. We qualified, so therefore we were top of the group. So why not give the boys a run? It was great to see them out playing like that. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
A lot of good young players. David Moyes did talk about it in his press conference. Do you think from what you saw from the game or from the highlights and the current crop of academy we've got, there are any players there that could maybe make the step up?
I didn't identify Tone. To be honest with you, my link wasn't that brilliant to the match, so I didn't really get as much, how can I say, one-on-one with watching the individual guys as I would have liked. But in general, I thought they all played well. You know, I mean, to me, it's just a matter of our academy has been so strong in years gone by. When you think about it, all the players we've had come through the academy, it's just lovely to see the academy building again and a chance for the guys to come through. What guys were you thinking of in particular, Tone?
I mean, I've been watching the academy for such a long time. Dalla, I'm going to ask you, though, to move your camera down slightly so we can actually see you in the middle of the screen a little bit. That's it. Perfect. Right there. Okay. Absolutely don't need to move it now. So, yeah, I've been delighted with the academy. I think this is some of the best crop of young players we've had in many years. We're obviously short in the defensive area, so the players I'm keen on looking at is our defenders. I've always had a keen eye on Alessi and Baptiste, and I do think my impression of Alessi from the other night was that I think he is capable and ready to step up. He is 20. I think Baptiste has definitely got huge amounts of talent, and I think he'll be the future of West Ham. He is only 17, so he's got a long time to come into the team. But I was heavily impressed with Longello, who played at our left-back position. And I think everyone was...
That came from... was he playing, Ton? I didn't pick him up. The one that came from my old school.
St. Bonaventure's.
17. Yeah. Is it Givian or something like that? I'm not sure of his name.
No, I don't think he was playing. No.
No, he wasn't playing. No.
But I think
professional contract.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to bring up what David Moyes said about the academy here, and I'm reading it out to everyone in his press conference for Burnley. He said it's always important if you can give players opportunities, but you have to earn it. And I have to say the players did with how the under-23s have started the season. We had the chance to play them. They've all heard from me that I wasn't happy we didn't win the game. And now it's up to them to grasp the opportunity and move to the next level. He then goes on and says again about the academy, I'm always happy to give young players a chance, but I have to be a realist and say they must earn the right to play. None of them let us down. They did a great job, but I would also like a situation where I do not have so many on the pitch. So maybe that alleviates everyone's kind of opinion on the young players, because loads of us as West Ham fans want to see the academy coming through
Of
the
course we
setup
do.
and into the squad and into the
Yeah.
first team. However, Moyes is now blatantly saying that you don't want to be in a situation where you have to play 6 or 7 players in the first team.
No. I think he's right. I mean, he's how can I say he's not wanting to be in that position that many times, but at the same time he wants to get that chance to blood them and get them through and just to see where they are. It's a difficult one. That one. It's between a rock and a hard place. I mean, we'd won the group. Why not? There's a feeling from some fans, I would have thought, put on all the youngsters and give them a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact of, but then I look back to the old school and see how the boys came through when I was younger, how they were picked up locally, went into the academy, came through, and then played for the first team. Starting, I suppose, in my era with obviously with Bobby Moore, going from Barking boys' school right into the team. So it's brilliant to see the kids get a chance. So it's a difficult one for him because he wasn't under pressure in as much as that. How can I say? Other teams weren't depending on that result. If other teams were depending on that result, then he would have had to have played a stronger team because it wouldn't be then fair to the opposition.
Yeah, I think for me that's what kind of drew me. The thing that drew me to the game, of course, we qualified automatically. The thing that drew me to the game was the fact that we knew we were going to see a lot of younger players. This was different though. This wasn't the same as when Sam Allardyce came to West Ham and in the FA Cup round against Nottingham Forest, played a full 11 of academy players, and we got embarrassed on that game.
Yeah,
and it was right, and there's always this kind of ongoing thing about when Sam Allardyce done that, he threw those academy players under the bus. Where Moyes seems to have this kind of approach of bedding in these players. Now, it was great to see. I think at the end of the game, it was 7 or 8 young players actually made their debut when you include substitutes.
I know.
But for me,
you think of a young guy, a couple of young guys, 17, 18, suddenly they're blooded into a Europa League game. I mean, that's a fantastic situation when you think about it. 1 minute you're playing the under 23s and you're playing in the Premier League 2, and then bang, you're into a Europa Cup game. That must be a fantastic feeling. Those guys would have gone back home after that with a fantastic buzz.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I do think that Moyes would have been impressed with some particular players there, and I think he might be going, do you know what? I might start to breed these into the squad now. I mean, hopefully we don't pick up any other injuries. He never spoke a lot about particular injuries that came off the back of the game at Zagreb. I mean, for me, senior players didn't step up to the plate when they had an opportunity to step up to the plate. I don't want to dig out particular players, but you expect when you've got a lot of youth players there that the experienced players would work with them together and show them the way and guide them in the way. But I don't think many players in the senior team who played that evening took their turn. So Moyes will be looking at those academy players and going, do you know what? You've got a real opportunity here. You've actually got a genuine opportunity to challenge that first team, because I don't think he's particularly happy with some particular players in the team anyway. I'll go into some of the other things he said in the press conference as well. He went on and talked about the belief. He said the players' attitude was unbelievable throughout last season, and this team spirit and everything that comes with needing to be successful comes with winning. We need to keep it going and be on it all the time. We're a newish team trying to keep that consistency level up, but I have to say the players are doing a great job. We have an attitude that we're going to challenge whoever we face. We are positive, want to score goals, and all around, we are determined to keep going. And if we can get a level of consistency, we can keep picking up wins. I mean, he talks about consistency all the time, Dad. But he is showing signs of consistency with this team, is he not?
He is. Well, I mean, he goes. Maybe it's an old record being played again, but when he was at Everton, he was like that as well. He played with consistency then at Everton. He's actually replicating what he did there a little bit, because his consistency at Everton brought them right in to the cusp of Champions League football. And if it hadn't been for the problems that were going on in Europe at the time, Everton with his team would have been in the Champions League. But he has always put that emphasis on consistency, and I think if that's what he's going for, then that's what he wants. But I think the other thing that he said in that press conference, it's now down to those individuals to come up and show what they can really do. So just to tell the viewers at home now, I don't know. I sent you a link. I don't know if the guys know. There's a brilliant podcast on between Mikel Antonio and Callum Wilson on BBC Sounds. Maybe you should put
Yeah,
that link up because it's
yeah,
they do a podcast each week, and it was brilliant to hear Antonio talking about his recent games right up to today's game, and also
yeah,
Callum Wilson. They get on really well. So that's a good shout, that podcast. Anyway,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
going
yeah,
back to
yeah. I'll
football.
try and
Sorry,
find the
go
link
back
and
to
put
the
it in the.
yeah.
I'll
Put
try
the
and
link.
find
It's a
the
good.
link
It's
and
brilliant.
put it in the chat.
Sunset.
But it is true, though. It is true. I mean, I've done obviously with all the shows we do. He talks consistently about consistency, and that's exactly
Yeah,
what he wants breeding through this team. And if
yeah,
he
he
can
does.
breed
Yeah,
that into the if he can breed that into the young players, and the young players can
yeah.
step up,
Mm,
then that's exactly what he's aiming for. And I think that's what shows you the importance of the Chelsea win. The importance of the Chelsea win was we came off the back of 2 defeats and a draw,
yep.
and when we least expected to turn up,
Mm,
especially coming
mm,
off what you can call a blip, we
yeah,
turned up and got something back. And that is showing the new mentality of being a
yep.
West Ham player.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'd agree with
Or,
that.
or, or
Yeah,
the West
I'm.
or a West Ham fan, the West Ham team.
Well, in
Um,
fact, the podcast I was talking about there, when Mikel Antonio talks about the Chelsea game at length and how they were feeling coming off the pitch, how they felt in the dressing room, and how they went back out after that and achieved that. And the other thing was he was talking about the goal and said there was no way that Arthur had meant that, had meant that before. So that was that. It's a
yeah,
great podcast, but
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, I think Chelsea game was was just a brilliant win for us, was it not? It was a fantastic
Yeah.
win,
Oh, it was huge win for
huge
us to
win,
come back and to bounce
and
back.
lose,
That's the
and we
game
were
where a lot of
losing, we were
fans
losing the game. I know,
a lot of fans didn't expect us to bounce back to the way
no,
we did, and we did, albeit we took some hits during the game, of course, with the injury
yeah,
of Zuma and the injury of Ben Johnson that we've heard now
I know.
since. Hopefully, Zuma's is
What's
not as
happened with Ben
bad.
Johnson? I haven't heard that.
Well, he's
Is he
out.
all right
He'll be
then?
out hamstring, so he'll be out for about a month. They're expecting a month.
Really?
And Zuma
Mm.
is maybe not as bad as first feared. Might not be down to April, but I think it will be at some point next year.
Oh,
So
you're
we'll have to
joking.
see
So
what
he's
he
going to have
does
to
when
look
he
for a
dips in.
defender. So he all the rumours then he's going for a defender. He's got to go for a defender then, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He goes on and talks about the challenges that's faced. He says, my question at the start was, is there any chance we could get 2 more points than last year? Because that would have caught Chelsea. That's the challenge for us, to get another strong season. You can sometimes have a bit of a dip, but I think we've done the opposite and got better. I mean, when you think about West Ham from last year to West Ham so far in the games you saw this season, are we performing better, or are we on par, or what do you think? I mean, is there to be any better? I mean, last season was great, and so far this
Yeah.
season is great.
Yeah. Yeah, but you've got to remember this year as well. I mean, we've been not saddled, but we've got the Europa League to contend with as well, which is a lot more games, a lot more pressure. Playing the Thursday, playing the Sunday, with the injuries that have come about through those games as well. So I mean, it's going to be harder this year to maintain his word consistency when you get a few injuries like that, and when you're playing so many games and rotating the team like that. However, no, I do actually. I think that I think we're on par with last year, definitely.
Yeah.
The problem I personally feel is just that Europa League fixtures. I'm just wondering, will that affect our position in the top 4? But then you say that we're not scared of anyone just now. He doesn't seem to be frightened of anybody, does he?
No, he's not. And I think the thing
He's,
is that the thing that maybe plays on our side now is the fact that we can actually park the Europa League for 3 months, because our next time we
yeah,
feature in the Europa League is in March. So he's
yeah,
now
it
got
is.
an
Yeah,
opportunity to concentrate on the other 3 competitions. We're about to enter the
yeah,
world of the FA Cup. We've got a quarter
yep,
final against Manchester City, against Tottenham in the League Cup. And then, of course, we've
yep,
got the league to do. We've got lots of games in December. We need to try our best to get over the line, and that's hopefully what he is going to do. He then goes on and talks about Burnley in particular. He says, Sean Dyche has done a good job, as anyone over 10 years, for what he has available to him. Do we fear teams? No, we don't. We go into games believing we can cause problems as well. Everyone expects Burnley to find a way not to be in the bottom 3. The league has got stronger, but Sean is a fighter and his team do brilliant things. How they stay in games and make it difficult for you. They're hard to beat, and
yeah,
Turf Moor has never been as easy a place to get a result. We did well there last year, so hope to do that again. I think the Premier League this year has got stronger, but Sean is a fighter. It's that's just repeating what we said here. It's a difficult place to get a
but I
result, but
think
we played
the
with it last year, and I hope we do the same on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that with the Burnley game, I mean, West Ham, Moyes knows how Dyke sets up that team, and our team know how they play. We've played them enough, and when you think of the way they've set up and how they've survived the Premier League the way they have, then you have to give them credit for that. They're not going to change their system for anybody, and it's a difficult team to play against because he does set them up well. He's the defender. He knows how to set them up. He plays well. He's kept them in the league for Premier League for now nearly every season, and it's a
Yeah.
hard, tough game against Burnley because they do not change. And I think
No.
we change from time to time, but they don't. They just play that same virtually consistent game every game, and for them it's paid off, and that's why it's difficult for us.
I mean, Sean Dyche is a manager. I mean, I think you rate him. Do you not? You like him as a manager?
I like Sean Dyche as a manager. I think he can. He's a lot of people think he's a little bit like defensive minded, but there again, he can only play with what he's got in teams. He hasn't got untold amount of money coming in there, and he's always set that team up very well at the back, as has Moyes as well. He's done that as well. He's set us well at the back, and however. Yeah, we've got that ability to go forward, but at the same time, we've got to unlock a Burnley team that play defensive, that keep strong at the back, which they do, and we've got to try and unlock that. We've got the players to unlock it.
Yeah, of course. Before I go on to the last slide for the press conference, usually the press conference that comes on the back of a Europa League press conference is a lot quieter, and there's not as huge amount more information that comes off the back of it. So I've got one more slide to go through. However, before I get there, please subscribe to the channel. We're on the march. We are literally 17 people away from 10,000 subscribers, which will be a huge achievement for such a small little channel, small little West Ham channel. So go across and subscribe if you can.
Hit the button, guys. Hit the button.
Yeah, tonight, 9 o'clock, the preview for the Burnley game will be going live. We've got an opposition fan coming on as well. You'll recognise him. He's been on before. So please come over and check us out at 9 o'clock when we do the preview later on. But the last slide is in relation to COVID. Now, I'm not going to get into like a political debate here, but Moyes covers it because what he says is when you see the situation at Spurs, there is a kind of inevitability that it's going to happen to other clubs. How concerning is it as a manager? Because it's must be a manager's worst nightmare, something like that happening. It can happen in any office in the country as well, because it's not just football clubs, I'm sure. It can be in any walk of life. And I can only tell you here, we're doing everything we possibly can. We're wearing masks when we're indoors. We're washing our hands. We're sending messages to the players regularly about what to do. So we're trying to do everything, but COVID doesn't pick and choose. And if we get it, then we just have to try and find a way of getting rid of it quickly. I said it last night, as in the other night, and I really do. I wish all the Tottenham players and the staff well, and they get over it quickly. And it's not something anybody wants because it's affecting the game we work in. We're getting games called off. If it's the first question when there is a weekend of football, so I think we would all really like it to go away, but it's just not. So we have to deal with it the best we can, and that's obviously in relation to the fact that Spurs have had their game postponed against Ron, but it's not getting rescheduled now. I don't know if you heard that. It's not getting rescheduled, so it's gone to like a independent panel.
Adjudication now.
Adjudication now to see what's going to happen. Their game already has been suspended for the Brighton game coming up. So it's a real situation for football, and I think the reason why Moyes, and they're talking about it for Moyes, is because Moyes just was saying how all the press and journalists were allowed back in, to now be told they're not allowed back in, and he's gone back to Zoom calls again. And I just worry now, is this going to be the start of maybe football fans not going back to games when we've just suddenly got back to games? And what impact, Dad, would that have if fans weren't able to go back into stadiums against to the teams?
But I mean, well, I suppose when you were comparing last season to this season, last season we played behind closed doors, if you think about it, and achieved a fantastic result in the league. But at the same time, when the fans are back in, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I'm sure the guys at home now would recognise the fact that if you look at a game now at the London Stadium, you can feel something now. Something's changed there a little bit. There seems to be a bit more of an embracing of the stadium. I mean, Upton Park, it was just fantastic, obviously, and we did struggle to get that. But I feel when the fans came back in, there was a lift, I think, which went through to the team. I mean, in the Chelsea games, in any of the games, really, when the fans have been there, it contributes. There's no question about that. They contribute. So to go back to a closed door situation, I think would be really disheartening.
Really would be,
For the
yeah,
players as well,
100%.
because I think the players love that buzz. There's no question about it. They love the fact if we're behind them, and I think the stadium, you could hear our fans singing. Even though when the Europa boys came over from abroad and they were making a big racket, but that was brilliant anyway. That was good. But then our guys then are singing, keeping them going, and that's the tradition of West Ham. The fans backing the team recognizing the fans are there, and then putting in a good performance.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what happened. So I'd be really cheesed off, to be honest with you, Tone, if that goes back to, and that it's not looking good. He's right what he says. It's affecting the game, and if these figures go up without going into too much politics, there's a likelihood that could happen again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that would
GP's
be,
asking here, has Stell travelled to Burnley? No, Stell doesn't travel outside the M25. So Stell is definitely not on his way there. Happy Hammerette, please know there are more crucial players depth-wise to have out for a game, I guess, but for now it's key to our team play. I'll keep my fingers crossed. We'll talk about team selection later on when I do the preview. Ludders saying perhaps all international games haven't helped with COVID issues. I'm sure we would have heard something by now if that was a possibility. Yeah, not so sure. Anyway, Dad, any last kind of thoughts? I mean, I'm going to do the preview later on, but I will ask you your prediction for the game tomorrow before you go.
Well,
what's your prediction?
Again, I think it's can we break down Sean Dyche's team? Yes. With the talent that we've got up front, yes, I think we can break that team down. I'd like to think 2-0 to us. That's my prediction against Burnley.
I'll take that right now. And that really does bring an end to our really quick show. That's what these shows are all about, giving you quick information based on the David Moyes press conference. Normally I'd do it literally straight after his press conference. Couldn't do it yesterday, so we're bringing it to you today. But like I said, subscribe. The buttons are all there below. Go and hit the buttons. Subscribe to the channel. We're close to the 10,000 subscribers. We will be live at 9 p.m. tonight for the preview. And again, we will be live for a match day live for the Burnley game tomorrow as well. And just to finish off, we do like to thank our channel sponsors and partners. So check this out. Dad, thanks for joining us. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
See you later, guys.